Later, they attended Calvary Community Church with Pastor Jim Price, whose daughter was my high school best friend, Amy. In 2006, the family began to attend Hessel Church, and Elvira immediately jumped into ministry. She loved working with, teaching, and loving children, especially with the Awana ministry. Again, more ways for her to be other children's mother. In 2012, Elvira was given an opportunity to move to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with her work at William Wecker. And again, she loved her job. She and Arnold looked at this as a great opportunity for adventure, and I told them they had to go. There was no way. Why would you not go to Wyoming and have an adventure? So off they went, and they loved living there. Elvira would return from her day at work, and my dad would have gotten groceries, and he'd have dinner ready, and then he would have this whole itinerary of this new adventure that they were going to have that weekend. So my mother had something to look forward to every single weekend, and for the first time, she was taking care of herself rather than taking care of the rest of the family, and she was at peace. She loved the nature and the quiet, but then in 2016, she retired, and they returned back to their home in Petaluma. The one thing she was happy about is she got to become reconnected with the church family at Hessel and its ministry, and she jumped straight back into that. In retirement, she also loved to work in her beautiful garden with flowers, roses, and vegetables, and she would entertain every chance she could get. In February of 2017, last year, my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. When we first learned here, we immediately went to have surgery in San Francisco, and we were hopeful as she had ovarian cancer years before, and it was handled with surgery and a couple rounds of chemo, but this time was different. So when they opened her up, they said, this isn't an easy fix. And my mom, ever courageous, my father and I went and saw her after she woke up, and the first thing she does is apologize to us. And, Mom, you don't need to apologize to us. And she says, I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry. And immediately, without skipping a beat, went right into the fight and went through several rounds of different chemos. Lasted much longer than the doctors ever thought she would, and that is simply because she's a fighter, and she loved life, and she wanted to share more life. I don't think she ever actually thought this was going to be the end. So I think it surprised her, even in the final weeks, that this was actually happening. So on December 12th, 2018, while at home with her husband, Elvira went home to be with her Lord and Savior. She leaves her much-loved and faithful husband of 42 years, Arnold, me, her daughter, Lauren, excuse me. She is preceded in death by her father, Maximo, and she also leaves behind her mother, Maria, her sister, Lydia, and husband, Juan, and her sister, Martha, as well as her huge extended family and friends. Elvira will be remembered for being a joyful, sweet, selfless, welcoming, strong, composed, beautiful, compassionate, godly, and loving follower of Jesus. She will be greatly missed by us all. Thank you.
We're going to sing a simple song that we used to sing for my mom all the time. And of course, every time we get together with family, my mom would say, can you sing the song? And of course, Vera was there. So we're here again for you, Vera. Oh. Por una senda estrecha andaba yo, y allí a un extraño vi. La carga que llevaba mi mostró, era una cruz que conocí.
Ven, trae tu cruz y sígueme. Oí su tierna voz llamar. Negarle nunca puedo a quien por mí su vida quiso dar. Clame al Señor Jesús y Él me habló. Sus manos lastimadas vi, las huellas del desprecio que Él sufrió. Sufrió por redimirme a mí. Ven, trae tu cruz y sígueme. Oí su tierna voz llamar. Negarle nunca puedo a quien por mí su vida quiso dar. Tu cruz permíteme cargar, hablé, y otra cruz me señaló, la misma que con miedo deseché, cuando antes Él me la ofreció. Ven, trae tu cruz y sígueme, oí su tierna voz llamar. Negarle nunca puedo a quien por mí su vida quiso dar. My cross I'll carry till the crown appears. The way I journey soon will end, where God Himself shall wipe away all tears, and friend hold fellowship with friend. Take up thy cross and follow me. I hear the blessed Savior call. How can I make a lesser sacrifice when Jesus gave His soul?
Hard without the rails, huh? Hi, I'm Sarah Proslov, Elvira's friend for many, many years, since we came to the United States in 1957. So we grew up together as teenagers and young adults. First of all, I would like to extend my deepest heartfelt condolences to Arnie Lauren, Maria Lydia, and Marta and Juan. He was like her brother. And also from my family, I'm representing them and sending their heartfelt condolences. Oh, this is hard. I'll try to see what I can do here. So no words can express your loss, but just know that God is with you, and may you find peace and joy as time goes by. So we met in San Francisco, and the Kotow family lived around the corner from us. So we spent a lot of times together at each other's homes, and then mostly at church and going on different outings, picnics, lakes, lots of tanning, and Searsville Lake, Calistoga Russian River, Coyote Point, where we grew up and did lots of fun stuff with all the young people together. Lots of wonderful memories that I have of our long history together. Excuse me. We connected as good friends from the very beginning, had no personality clashes. We understood each other, respected each other, and shared from our hearts, Elvira and I. You know, when we say our dear friend, for me, saying in Spanish, I called her always mi querida amiga. Querida somehow sounds more endearing than just dear. When we were young adults, we also lived in San Francisco after we were married, and so did Vera and Arnie, and our children would spend time together with Lauren. So we know each other since they were younger. Then later on in 1972, we moved to Oregon. So we did not see each other that often, but we did come back to San Francisco many times. Every summer, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law and many other friends and relatives lived there to visit. And they came up also to Oregon to visit us. And today I'm wearing my a blouse with flowers for my dearest flower girl. She had a very good knack for being a great gardener and knew how to grow anything, the garden and veggies, and her yard was immaculate, looks like a park. This is a portrait of my querida amiga as I knew her. A true flower girl, loved flowers and knew how to grow them, and had an amazing talent to decorate and make her yard, outdoor space look beautiful. She was an expert gardener. A true lady, elegant and classy, gracious, responsible and dependable, always looking her best and with a smile. She loved her family and was very proud of her husband Arnold and daughter Lauren, and she had great pleasure in seeing them in many ways, serving them in many ways, including her mother and sisters and the rest of the extended family. Her friendships were real, and she was a true, loyal friend, had high expectations of herself, self-discipline in her clothing style, with her food choices, self-control in her professional life. She set for herself a dress code, as Lauren mentioned earlier, a dress code ethic of only dressing professionally. Her inner beauty reflected her outer beauty. She was joyful, positive, and saw only the good in people. She knew how to make people feel very comfortable and accepting. When some of my friends who didn't even know her would come and meet her, and she would invite them to come to her house, she would just embrace them as one of her true friends. And they were all still talk about her, what a wonderful, hospitable person she was, and that she made them feel very welcome and loving. She was selfless, sacrificial, kind, exceptionally hospitable, and an amazing hostess, truly caring for her from her heart in relationships with family and friends and others. Here's an example. One Sunday morning, I'm not sure if it was a Mother's Day or Easter, she woke up very early in the morning, bought all these beautiful flowers, made bouquets, and then went down to the Bay Area to visit her Ukrainian old ladies, to surprise them early in the morning, delivering the bouquets and visiting with them for a little bit. That brought her really joy to make them happy. Embracing and welcoming not only friends but strangers into her home, treating them like family. Showing friends and the friends' a good time, showing places of interest, treating to meals, and giving of herself. Here's another example of her care and love. When I was, about 3 years ago, when I was diagnosed with a neurological condition, she and Arnie drove to stay with us to give us support. And she attended my therapy sessions and helped me to do my home exercises, She was a strict coach and would not allow me to slack off. She said, you have to do, we would practice doing these certain therapy exercises, and it was both of us were laughing so hard because it was not working out the way it should. But she would not let me quit. She was there for me every day. And then they also came to our son's wedding, and we had the wedding in a camp in the woods where that was my son and daughters-in-law's love, fishing, mountains, hiking, backpacking. So they had the wedding, like a whole weekend wedding at this camp. So Arnie and Vera came, and she came a few days earlier to help in the kitchen. And she did the beautiful table settings with flowers. She went out into the woods and cut down flowers and fern and all those things, and you could imagine, but beautiful little table settings she did. She styled my daughter-in-law's hair during the wedding, helped me dress, style my hair, and put her special touch to make the place look wonderful. It was such a fun, special time to hear her laugh and encourage others. A very special memory that will stay with me always is the fun she had when Lily and Elvira and I went on a trip together. We went on a cruise and then to Florida. And since this was her first time on the cruise, she had the most fun. She was like this little kid who was in Disneyland or in a candy store, laughing, exploring everything. We went every place, taking photos in the weirdest places. Had so much fun and lots of laughter. And then I had a chance also to fly to, when she moved to work in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Lily and I stayed there for a week, and she made special arrangements for us even to fly on the private plane of her boss, the one way there. That was such a special experience. And while this was wintertime, while we were there, she just made a special effort just to give us a tour of every place and take us to make our time very special, which she knew how to do. Excuse me, I just have a hard time with all this remembering everything. And then when we also went to the Universal Studios and the Epcot Center in Florida, we went to every ride there were signs saying, do not ride this ride if you're a certain age or if you have certain conditions. We didn't care. We would go there and have the most fun, laughing. And for me, it was just such a joy watching her be like a little girl, laughing and enjoying herself so much. It just gave me pleasure to watch her be like a little kid again. I'm brokenhearted and missing her terribly. When she was already very ill, she said, whatever God's will is, I will accept. My only consolation for me is knowing that she is no longer in pain and that she is not suffering anymore. She's probably just in charge of some park or a flower garden in heaven. And my hope is that we will see each other in heaven. And I just want to say condolences once again to the family and from my family with deepest my whole heart. God bless you. Thank you.
This is not going to be easy. I'm Flora Halowadi. I have been a friend of Vera for over 50 years, and we are kind of related a little bit through my husband. I think he was their second cousin, something like that, so a little bit of family here. The last few months, as I watched Elvira's body get weaker and thinner, it was very painful. She was a wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, and a very good friend. We were all doing our best to be strong for her, but in the inside, we were grieving so much. Yet even that suffering, Elvira found strength in the knowledge that she was going to be with Jesus, her Savior, whom she loved very much. May we all be blessed enough to face the end of this life with faith and courage that comes from the heart. She was truly an inspiration to me. It was wonderful talking to her. And during one of my visits, as she reclined on the couch and I sat across from her, we talked for a long time. It was a very precious moment for me, and I remember that, because we were reminiscent about our salvation, how the Lord saved us, and share with each other his faithfulness throughout all the years, and just gave examples and talked about it. So it was wonderful to experience that. And Elvira found strength in the knowledge that she was going to be in presence of Jesus. And she shared that she was I thought she was 9, but I guess she was 11, when she, at a Billy Graham campaign, she went and received the Lord as her personal Savior, and in Argentina. So little did Elvira know that that 9-year-old girl, or 11, transformed by her Redeemer, that she would go on to shine his light in the lives of so many people all her life. I'm grateful to count myself as one of those people. Elvira and I have known each other since I came to this country in 1966. Our friendship grew even more when Lauren was born. Elvira needed to go back to work, and she needed someone to watch her precious little girl. So thanks to Lauren, I started a family daycare that continued for the next 29 years. When I decided to retire from daycare, Elvira was there for me once more. She organized a retirement party for me. She invited all the children that came through my daycare for 29 years. It was a wonderful time, and just so emotional, and a day that I will never forget. Elvira was someone who would willingly work so hard to make someone feel very special, and she made me feel very special that day. We also served the Lord together in Awanas. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Awana, it's a program for children that helps them memorize Bible verses and organizes games. We served the children of Awanas for several years together.